Let me ask you all a question. Have you ever traveled at 20 miles per hour? And if so, did your lungs collapse from the pressure exerted on your force at such great speeds? Did you see a bunch of uteri strewn across the path because they was expelled from women's bodies as they traveled at that speed? Probably not. But those were actual fears and predictions that would happen when trains were invented. And people claimed that trains would go 20 miles per hour. And everyone thought that would be unhealthy, unimaginable, dangerous to do. These fears are what we talk about in our latest episode of the Dan and Can podcast, in a series where we're starting to talk about AI. And in this, I wanted to go back and look at the history of how we reacted and responded to new inventions, new developments in our society, and how a lot of times fear just came out and our imaginations ran wild with what would possibly happen. So we're looking at, a bunch of different things in the historical context. Trains, for example. We had radio, television. There's a lot of fears about that and the communication people would have. Elevators people feared. Electricity people feared. Things we use day to day, in and out. And some of what was predicted and feared did come true. But we adapted and learned how to incorporate it into our lives and not be fearful of it anymore. Most of it went by the wayside as just wild and crazy imaginatory outcomes that may have happened. And when I'm looking at AI and what the anxiety and fear that we tend to have and what this is going to do and how it's going to take over the whole world and destroy humanity, because we've seen that in movies before, whether it be Odyssey, 2001 Space Odyssey, or Terminator, or The Matrix. We've already developed these fears and are basing a lot of this on what our culture has predicted in these fears. But will it come to pass? I think we can look at history and kind of examine it and see where we might go. Our brains are there to protect us. And when they see something new, a new development, a new creation, we examine it and look at it and try to predict all the awful things that may happen so we can be prepared and react and preserve ourselves. It's trying to save us from danger. And that's what we're doing now with new inventions, such as AI and whatnot. So I think if we look at that, we can kind of rest a little assured. It's going to be a weird time for a little bit with this new development until we wrangle it in and capture what we need to use it for. We see plenty of odd videos going around, but that'll kind of go by the wayside. And we'll start seeing what may be and what could possibly be to help us grow as a society. But as history always shows, a lot of the fear is unsubstantiated. Be cautious, be wise, but use it to improve ourselves. I think might be the lesson history teaches us here.